Even though the Skywalker saga has officially ended, many of its moments will live on forever in the hearts and minds, yes, but also the internet debates of the millions of Star Wars fans around the world. Did Han shoot first? Why can't stormtroopers shoot anything? And why didn't Leia hug Chewbacca? Well, we may have an answer to that last one in the form of a new deleted scene. The scene in question has been the subject of controversy since The Force Awakens first came out. You probably already know which one we're talking about, but for those who don't, let's run it back very quickly. At the end of the movie, after the demise of a 40-year Star Wars veteran, Han Solo, at the hands of his own son, Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren, the Resistance has a joyful reunion during which two specific people hug. But according to most people who are not J.J. Abrams, these were the wrong two people. The whole situation centers around Han Solo, who got, Kylo Ren, his son, and Leia, his mom. When Chewbacca, Rey, and Poe emerge from their ships, carrying an injured Finn, Leia ignores her baby daddy's best friend and goes straight to Rey, who she has never met at this point. Why didn't Leia hug her old friend Chewie, who had just lost his best friend? How was she drawn to someone she'd never even seen before instead of the Wookiee she'd spent countless hours with over the past 40 years? The Wookiee who in the next shot is mourning the death of his friend all alone. J.J. Abrams tried to explain his reasoning. My thinking at the time was that Chewbacca, despite the pain he was feeling, was focused on trying to save Finn and getting him taken care of. So I tried to have Chewbacca go off with him and focus on Rey, and then have Rey find Leia and Leia find Rey. The idea being that both of them being strong with the Force and never having met, would know about each other. That Leia would have been told about her beyond what we saw on screen, and Rey, of course, would have learned about Leia. And that reunion would be a meeting and a reunion all in one, and a sort of commiseration of their mutual loss. Now, that's fair enough, but they could have just hugged, instead of ignoring each other. But Abrams thinks that if Chewbacca hadn't been in the shot at all, no one would have noticed the hug snub. Had Chewbacca not been where he was, he said, you probably wouldn't have thought of it. But because he was right there, passed by Leia, it felt almost like a slight, which was definitely not the intention. What was the intention? Well, Joonas Suotamo, the Finnish actor and former professional basketball player who lives in that Chewbacca suit, has shed some light on the situation. He says that they had actually filmed a whole other scene where Leia and Chewie console each other. For The Force Awakens, he said, we actually shot a special scene, a consolation scene for Chewie, which didn't make it into the finished film or DVD. The thought process behind it was a little bit different than what ended up being in the film, and those kinds of things always affect the final decision making on the day. What did this consolation scene look like? Did Chewie and Leia visit Han Solo's grave? Did they go out for a night on the town? Most importantly, did the consolation involve a hug? We may never know, and according to Suotamo, that's okay. He says that the whole Star Wars narrative is so huge that these small mishaps, as some people call them, don't weigh as much when you're bringing the Skywalker saga to an end. Which is true to an extent. But fans got so mad that they even corrected it in the next film. After their narrow escape from Kylo and his fleet, as they fly away on the Millennium Falcon, Chewie and Leia share a very brief hug. If you time it, the shot lasts less than 2 seconds. That's shorter than this shot of Suotamo as Chewbacca sitting courtside in the 2018 NBA playoffs. So, although it's not much, Suotamo says, I'm just glad we corrected the Leia hug. What do you think? Could the extra scene have made all the difference, or are you one of the very few people that think The Force Awakens is fine just the way it is? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to ScreenRant for all the latest.